All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and, honestly, one of the most invisible forms of social influence out there. We're not talking about shouting matches or obvious power plays. No, this is a system that works through stillness, through precision. We're diving deep into the architecture of calm aggression. Just let that quote sit for a second. It's so good because it gets right to the heart of what's happening on a neurological level. This low-volume dominance, it isn't just about being quiet. It's about forcing a physical reaction from you. I mean, think about it. To actually hear a whisper, what do you have to do? You have to stop moving, you have to hold your breath, you have to focus all your senses, and in that very moment, your own body, your own biology is being turned against you. It puts you in this primal state of high alert. And this really reveals a fundamental truth about power, doesn't it? The most dangerous threats are the ones that use a group's fear of the unknown to dismantle an individual's will to act. And this is really where we see the two sides of the coin. Our brains, they're wired for clarity. They want clear signals. So when you see hot anger, what psychologists might call affective aggression, it's predictable. It's like having a map. You can see the person getting worked up, you can hear their voice rising, you know what you're dealing with. But cold anger? That's something else entirely. It's a void. It's the absence of information. And when your brain gets nothing, it goes into overdrive, right? It starts filling in the blanks with all the worst case scenarios. And that's exactly what the calm aggressor is banking on. They know the real fight isn't about who's the loudest. It's about who can control the silence. So this brings us to this core idea, low volume dominance. And let's be super clear, this isn't just someone being patient or thoughtful. No way. When a powerful person goes cold like this, they're running a live psychological audit on you. They're not just waiting for you to say something, they are systematically pushing and prodding to find the absolute breaking point of your anxiety. They're literally calibrating their next move based on how uncomfortable you look, using your own brain's fear of social uncertainty as the weapon. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? This is where we get into the lived pattern, something we can call the rational executor. We're going to look at how this plays out in places like offices and boardrooms and how it leads to this slow, creeping erosion of a person's will to act, a condition we're going to call agency atrophy. I want you to picture this, the sudden freeze. You're in a meeting, everything's going fine, and then boom, the temperature in the room just plummets. A leader zeroes in on a high performer and just starts deconstructing their work. But not with yelling. It's worse. It's a completely level, monotone voice, just clinically listing out every single supposed mistake. And the effect on the room? It's instant. Everybody else snaps into this state of hypervigilance. It's like their nervous systems just slam on the brakes. The target is completely isolated, and the entire room turns into this theater of silent judgment, where every single person is just thinking, please don't let it be me next. And this is where the trap just snaps shut. It's a total checkmate. The person being targeted is under a very real attack, but think about their options. Every single move is a losing one. If you raise your voice, you're unstable. If you argue the facts with any kind of passion, you're defensive. And if you stay silent, well, that just looks like you're admitting guilt. This is agency atrophy. It's when the very act of trying to defend yourself gets twisted into you being difficult or overly sensitive. The aggressor has built this perfect little box where the only socially acceptable way out is to just give in. And this quote just lays out the brutal reality of it all. You think you're in a logical debate, right? You're trying to win with facts, but you're not playing that game. You're in a fight for emotional control, for how everyone else in the room sees you. The aggressor's professionalism, it's not real. It's a performance. It's a weapon designed to make their attack look like reasonable leadership. And because they stay so calm while they're doing the damage, they completely hijacked how everyone else sees the situation. The more you react, the more you play right into their hands, proving their story that you're the one who's unstable. And just like that, you've handed them the remote control to your own reputation. All right, so we've seen what this looks like in the wild. Now, let's switch gears and go into full-on diagnostic mode. We're going to deconstruct the hidden mechanics here. We're going to break down the 4 distinct phases of what we'll call the cold C's. And remember, this isn't random emotion, this is engineering. So this is the blueprint. It's a 4-step playbook that takes a situation from a simple disagreement all the way to total submission. Step 1 is the chill. That's when the energy drops. Then comes step 2, the message, which is the precision strike. After that, it gets locked in with step 3, the anchor, which creates a social vacuum. And it all leads to the final step, the default, where they have a complete monopoly on the atmosphere. And I'll say it again, this is not random. It is a meticulously engineered system of control.
Okay, let's look at phase 1, kinetic deceleration. So the aggressor doesn't match your energy level. Instead, they drop theirs way down. And what does that do? It forces you to lean in, to quiet down, to get on their level. Then they hit you with what we can call surgical silence. That pause, that's just a few seconds too long after you've said something. It's agonizing, right? And in that silence, that deliberate void, they're basically building a map of your brain. They're watching how badly you need to fill that silence, how much you need resolution. They're waiting for that discomfort to get so strong that it just completely steamrolls your rational thinking. And that's the moment your need to just end the awkwardness becomes more important than your need to get to the truth.
So, once your guard is down, they launch phase 2, the precision strike. They say something absolutely devastating, like, "Frankly, I'm disappointed in the lack of rigor here." But they say it with the same emotional tone as if they were ordering a coffee. This creates something called limbic confusion. Basically, your brain's threat detector, your amygdala, is screaming bloody murder. This is a high-stakes conflict, but your eyes and ears are getting these super low-key signals. It's a total paradox that paralyzes you. Your fight-or-flight system is going haywire, but there's nothing obvious to fight or run from. And if you did fight back, it would feel like you're the one starting the trouble. And what comes next is just as calculated. Phase 3, the social vacuum. After they drop that bomb, they give you nothing. No explanation, no flicker of anger, certainly no apology. They just let the social pain of what they said hang in the air. You can almost feel it, like it's a physical weight in the room. They just hold their gaze. And what this does is create an isolation anchor in your brain. It forges this powerful link between their silence and a feeling of intense social danger. Your mind just scrambles to do anything, apologize, agree with them, back down, anything to make that horrible, tense, cold feeling go away. And the end game of this whole cycle, it's what you could call an atmospheric monopoly. When this happens over and over, that calm aggressor becomes the default reality for the entire group. People just stop challenging them. Everyone starts unconsciously looking to that one person to figure out if it's safe to speak, to know what the mood of the room is. The whole dynamic shifts from collaboration to just compliance. It's crazy to think about, but one person's stillness is now literally managing the collective heart rate of everyone else in the room. Okay, so we've just deconstructed the how, we've seen the playbook, now we need to ask why. Why on earth is this so effective, especially on smart, data-driven people who you'd think would see right through it? Well, that's what we're digging into next, the cognitive shortcuts and the deep-seated biases that make this whole system so unbelievably powerful. And this really is the critical question, isn't it? We all like to think of ourselves as rational. We make decisions based on logic and facts, and we're totally immune to this sort of emotional gamesmanship. But the fact that calm aggression works and works so well proves that's not the whole story. There's clearly something deeper going on here, something that's bypassing our logical brain and talking directly to our most primal survival instincts. And the answer really comes down to a powerful mental shortcut our brains use, called the heuristic of composure. I mean, think about it. Our brains are processing a crazy amount of information every second, so they have to take shortcuts to make quick judgments. These are called heuristics. And in a conflict, your brain makes a super fast subconscious bet. Who here is in control? The person who's quiet and still, or the person who's loud and agitated? And almost every time, that mental shortcut defaults to stillness equals strength, quiet equals superiority. It's almost like an energy-saving mode for the brain. Just follow the one who isn't freaking out. And this table here just lays out that primitive calculation our brain is doing in milliseconds. You've got the noisy peer on one side. They're giving off all these hot, high arousal signals. And our brain's ancient status radar just reads that as unstable, erratic. And the result? We tend to dismiss them. But then you have the still predator on the other side. They're sending out cold, low arousal signals. Our brain reads that as strong, confident, in control. And the result? We follow them. The calm aggressor, whether they know they're doing it or not, is exploiting this hardwired shortcut in our brains with absolute precision. But here's the kicker. To deal with the intense mental discomfort of backing down when we feel like we're right, we have to lie to ourselves. It's called cognitive dissonance. We have to make our actions, giving in, match up with how we see ourselves, as strong, smart people. So instead of facing the terrifying truth, which is that we are being chemically managed by our own brain's hatred of that cold, silent tension, we tell ourselves a better story. We say, well, at least they stayed professional. It's a neat little trick we play on ourselves that lets us feel like we're still in control, even as we're giving it all away. Okay, so we've seen the pattern and we understand the psychology behind why it works. Now for the payoff. This final section is all about the diagnostic tools, how to recognize this system objectively, not when you're caught in the emotional trap, but as a neutral observer. And this is where we're going to uncover the central paradox of this whole rational aggressor thing.
So what's the tell? What's the flashing red light that tells you this system is running? It's something we can call the calm pain disconnection. And it's actually a pretty simple diagnostic test you can run in your head. Just ask yourself this: does the politeness of this conversation match the amount of pain it's causing? When you find a huge gap there, when an interaction feels calm and professional on the surface, but the actual result is incredibly destructive and painful, that's it. You've found the disconnect. And that's your cue to stop paying attention to the tone of voice and start auditing the actual intent behind the words.
And noticing that calm pain disconnection, that's the key that unlocks the whole paradox of this system. It forces you to question a really deep-seated assumption we all have about what it means to be composed, especially in leadership. It's a paradox that's about to flip our entire understanding of composure completely on its head. And here it is, the rationalist's paradox. We are all taught, basically from birth, to trust the most composed person in the room. We see their stillness as a sign of stable leadership. But, and this is the big but, in the context of calm aggression, their composure isn't a sign of stability at all. It's a warning sign. It's evidence that they are disconnected from the emotional reality of the group. And that very disconnect is what makes them uniquely dangerous to the psychological safety and, frankly, the intelligence of everyone around them. And this is the final, crucial realization. Composed does not equal correct. In fact, the aggressor's calm isn't even theirs. It's parasitic. It's a psychological shell that is literally fueled and held together by your anxiety. Think about it. Their stillness needs your agitation. Their control needs your fear. But the moment you see the system for what it is, the moment you realize their professionalism is just an act designed to manage you, the whole thing falls apart. Because the power was never in their calm. It was always in your reaction to their calm. So this leaves us with one last powerful tool. Real power in this kind of dynamic isn't about trying to be as cold as they are, and it's definitely not about being a victim. It's about awareness. Just understanding these mechanics is the single most important step you can take to reclaim your own agency. So the takeaway is this: stop fearing the whisper, stop reacting to the silence, start auditing the words.